Good morning to good morning, good morning. It's a rainy day. We had a storm yesterday. Today, hopefully, it's just rain, and water is always a welcome guest. I'm trying to think about what should I say first, because I had a meditation where I stepped into the Akashic records, and then I demanded to talk to the Galactic Council. Demanded, because 888 was a kick-ass portal, is a kick-ass portal, but some of you did really well, and it was a boon to you. And I have to say, look at my last live on what happened with the Brits going out in mass protesting the bullshit of the fascist racists. That was a good day. 888 was a perfect portal for that. Like you couldn't have manifested a better day to do that. But so I stepped into the Galactic Council the way I was sitting in the middle in a meditation, and they were surrounding me sitting. One of the sentient beings that comes from another planet that I first met when I did an LBL, Lives Between Lives, was there. And of course, she's sassy. She's very sassy. So her skin is black. Black with constellation of stars moving across her skin. Imagine watching the sky, right, moving, if you were out of space, and that's her skin in movement with a turban, but it's not a turban made of a hat or whatever. It's how her head is formed. It looks like a turban spiraling up, and her skin is this incredible constellation. She was there. Other beings, light beings, were there. Some I could not see clearly, but she definitely stepped up. My guide, I call him my mentor, but my guide was there. He's Pleiadian. I'm not going to describe him. It's personal. There's certain things I just won't share publicly. I'm sorry, because there's too many weirdos coming on these lives sometimes. So anyway, so here's the message of why they won't help us. Just so you know, they're helping us with nectar here and there, because they're trying to help us with what they can help us. And here's exactly what they said. Okay, so sit tight, because it's pretty intense. So I'm going to wait for my usual. Thank you, Letty, for being here. I'm waiting for my regulars, because the message is for them. So if you're looking for a twin flame yes or no reading, this is not your live. You can either stay and learn something new and instead of being obsessed with your twin constantly 24/7. I understand that, but I'm irritated sometimes because there's more to this journey than many of you understand, and that's obvious to me by what questions you ask sometimes. But with that said, many of you are transcendental. You know who you are, Letty, and many of you, Rachel, though I don't see you here, but you know who you are, Jennifer, list. So this is a quick live just to give you the message. So here was the download for today. Okay, so waiting for more. If you can share. Oh, good. 10. Perfect. Okay, so here it goes. So in many times before, so understand that these high level beings have never been in 3D. They've never fallen to 3D. Okay, never fallen to 5D. They're on higher. They're the closest thing of energy frequency to the creator. That's how they referred to the universe, God, however you could. They were referring it to the creator. Not my word, because I've never used that word. So the creator. They have helped us before during timelines, during eras. You'll recognize those eras as the golden age. So though they helped us, and we had a golden age throughout history, from Atlantean we had a golden age, Lemuria, I'm sure we had a golden age too. Lemuria didn't need our help actually, but Atlantis, the golden age of Greece, the golden age of Rome, things like that, they've helped us before. And because they helped us, because it's an immediate help and an immediate result, damn near immediate, it helped one generation only. Hence the golden age. Does that make sense so far? I'll look down in a minute, but hold your question for a minute until I'm done. And so it hasn't worked. It was a temporary fix. The potency of this shift, this current infrastructure, the current hold that the 1%, reptilian 1% have over us across the world, across this planet, has to be done by us. What they said is they are witnesses, that the Creator gave us free will, that the Creator wants us to do it because we have free will. So by doing nothing, it is a form of consent. It's a default of consent. If there's a trial, right, and you're suing someone, say a car, a speeding ticket, and you're in front of the judge and the cop doesn't show or whatever, right? The cop that gave you the ticket doesn't show, by default you win. Typically, that's the truth of that, okay? Typically. Does that make sense? So when we do not do anything, it's a default of consent to the fuckery. That's basically it. So when we do our work, right? When we do our work, okay, when we do what we're supposed to do, it may take a long time. They said it will dissolve. The more we push against the machine, it will dissolve. They said, what does that mean, dissolve? It means it takes time. Time and patience will be your ally. Make time and patience your ally. Do not let go. Do not go into despair. Do not go into anger. Do not go into despair. Do not go into anger. I'm repeating myself because that will not help you. Do not give up. Keep pushing against the machine. And it will dissolve. We will give you nectar. We will give you little gifts and little things to let you know, to encourage you, to let you know you're on the right path. But if you can do this in 3D, if you're the fact that you guys are awakening, they said, in a 3D body, in a 3D vibration is already extraordinary. But the thing is, you have to keep pushing against the machine, and over time, it will dissolve. It will dissolve and basically get destroyed bit by bit by bit, kind of like rock being eroded by water. Does that make sense? That does not mean that we will not see it in our generation. It does not mean that you will not see it in your lifetime. It means you will. But that you must hold on. Hold the line, right? Hold the line. So hold your connection to the Creator. Hold your connection to the New Earth vision. Hold your connection to your 5D frequency when you're there. And you're probably more often there than not, and probably more often than you even realize yourself. And that's the message. Because I was pissed off. Okay, I was like, I'm sick of your bullshit. Fucking help us, man. We fucking need your help. We're exhausted. People are committing suicide. Just fucking help us. And I was not in a right place to do the meditation yesterday. I told Andromeda Flame, I don't fucking want to talk to them. They know what's going on. They know what's going on. And finally this morning I was able to get to a place where I could get my head together and come without anger, but frustration, which was a more, appropriate energy. And that was the response. And though I couldn't argue the point, actually, to be honest, because as they showed me the timelines of the Golden Age, and they said we did help many times, but it would not stick because our power is above this evil. We are closer to the Creator. This evil is closer to 5D, 4D consciousness. It's not really as powerful as you think. And so when you guys rise as one, it will dissolve. And it is dissolving now. It is working. 888 yesterday with the Brits going en masse, protesting racism, protesting the bullshit, was a moment in time that was very important and very powerful. And the frequency of that conscious collective agreement of we are one, we all deserve to understand each other as brothers and sisters, irregardless of the creed, of our color, of our religious beliefs, of our ceremonies, of whatever, irregardless of that, we are one. We are brothers and sisters. That was big. And on 8/7, me and Andromeda were talking, going, what the heck? Because they were, en masse. The fascist, racist little thugs were running the streets of London to the point where people were being sent home. So something clicked. There was a shift. And it's funny because I'm starting to feel these clicks. But yesterday, some of us felt absolute exhaustion, like we woke up in the morning really, really excited and feeling amazing. And then suddenly during the day, shit started collapsing, within us. Exhaustion. We are holding sacred space. Many of you will be exhausted. Many of you felt fantastic. I don't give a shit if you were feeling fantastic or bad. The point is, everyone's experience is going to be different, and it doesn't remove the fact that the potency of our energies towards dissolving this particular infrastructure to recognize and to accept and to embrace the new earth 5D is all we need to agree on. That's actually all we need to agree on. and then making moves towards that and holding space for that and meditating for that and using 369 as part of your strategy for that. Meaning, manifest all you want for yourself, but make sure you've got a sentence reserved for the new earth. Make sure, okay? Do it for yourself, for your particular lineage you embody, for the future generations and the planet. There's an old saying that a good gardener is a gardener that plants fruit trees whose fruit she will never eat, not because it wants to plant it for itself, for its own desires, but in service to the collective, whether or not that person will be there to enjoy the fruits, the harvest. Okay. So we have to get a little more selfless when we also do 369. What else did I want to tell you? So that was the download. I usually don't share downloads or messages like that. And you know that about me. I really don't. Not on that level, okay? And so that you guys keep the faith, I was directed to share that with you. I typically keep it to myself, to my clients, or to, my friends, right? I let them know what I received in terms of messages. But moving forward here and there, if I'm directed to share that with you, I will start sharing with you more messages as to where we're at with this pushing against this machine, and that has suppressed us for thousands upon thousands of years, using religions and fuckery and differences, and using the very thing that makes us beautiful as a people, our diversity of skin color, of tongue, of the languages we speak. We have been shamed with the stories, the Tower of Babylon, when we supposedly fell and no longer understood each other. We understand each other. I can tell without a person speaking anything whether they come from a place of kindness or not. I don't need to hear their voice. I don't need to understand their language. I can understand their tone. Something Selma Hayek said that I really fucking hate. She said, it doesn't matter if somebody calls you names. It doesn't matter. You don't understand if they call you names from another language. So why do you get triggered when somebody calls you names in a language you understand? If it was from a language you didn't understand, you wouldn't understand it. Yes, you would. You would understand the frequency. You would understand the intent. You would understand the body language. And if you didn't see them, you'd understand and hear the vibration of their tone. Yes, you would. Yes, you'd understand. That's why kids with autism, you don't have to say one fucking word. If a teacher thinks that the autistic kid is shitty, the kid will act up. And everyone around them will not understand, well, why is the kid acting up? Because it actually telepathically picked up on the teacher's disdain for the child. We understand a lot more without words. Quite often words are barriers to us truly understanding a person's intention towards us or towards others. We don't need to understand the language of anyone. We need to feel the vibration of the intent of a human being. We need to look into their eyes sometimes to see if they are kind or true or whatever we feel. Do you understand? And so I want you to realize that the energies of the Galactic Council is there with incredible amount of love, incredible amount of, I feel like crying, sadness, because they tried many, many times. In fact, they did. And that's why in those periods we had what they called the Golden Age, the Golden Ages, the Renaissance period. They've tried, and it only benefited one generation. That's why now they have to sit and give us sacred space and send us little gifts of nectar and little encouragements through gifts. And gifts could be finding money on the floor, finding a feather on the street, seeing a hummingbird or a butterfly get right close to you or even land on you. Things of that nature are their gifts to encourage us. So I hope this helps, because I know I was fucking fed up, me personally. Any questions or comments? Let me open this up a little bigger. Oh, I almost fell asleep in the dentist chair. Okay, whatever. I'm sorry, Scorpio Life. I don't know what happened. Oh, you were trying to say you were exhausted. Okay, gotcha, Scorpio Life. Some comments in this live, like usual. This is why I don't say a lot of Yeshua is outside of truth of understanding. Yeshua is outside of truth of understanding. You're saying that a lot of people, just correct me if I'm wrong, Michael, you're saying that most people don't understand the truth of Yeshua? God is outside of the human self. That's why heaven and hell are different paths. God is outside of the human self. No, actually, that's not true. God, unless you decide that's true, God is inside all. If you accept that energy, it's within you. And everyone else that dies that you love is within you as well. It weaves in and out of you. Yeshua is outside the truth of your own understanding. No, it isn't. That's why many of us are getting actually downloads of Yeshua and Mary Magdalene. Again, you're putting Yeshua on a fucking pedestal, and that's not what Yeshua ever wanted. So you're actually not getting Yeshua, because if you did, you'd realize that there's a fractal piece of Yeshua within you, and probably that's not true for you, to be honest. But I can tell you it's true for many of us. He came as a lamb, he returns as a lion. He's not actually returning physically. We are fractal pieces of Yeshua. That's why many of us are fucking the lion. We're the dragons, the lions. We are that force. And it's needed. And we need to speak out more and more, and using our throat chakra for that purpose. Does that make sense? Because if you think that Yeshua is unattainable, then maybe you don't have a connection with Yeshua, and I implore you to sit in meditation more often than not. And you may want to, no offense, no medical recommendation here, fast, and maybe at that point you're ready to do. And this is, a spiritual recommendation. Go and do some ayahuasca. Go and do bufo. Get an ego death. Because if you're not feeling a fractal piece of Yeshua and the wholeness of Yeshua here and there in your meditation, then it is your ego that has decided to guard the door like a mad dog from Yeshua entering the portals of your soul. I'll just say that. Is all that God does good? Yes. He and Mary lived through us. Yes. I've healed a woman's bones and I cast demons, yet you call them fake, false, I was called. Michael, I think we're done here. I'm sorry. You sound very ignorant, and no offense, but I don't have time for you. I'm sorry. I really don't. Sorry, yes, I should have explained the exhaustion yesterday was unreal. No, I understand that. Me too. I was fucking exhausted. Like I was drunk. Like I was drugged. And it was, how do I start speaking? Do you hear me speak? You speak with the kind of indignance, passion, creativity. You download, you use your downloads. When I speak, if you listen to any of my lives and I'm talking without stopping, do you really think any human being can talk like that? No, that's channeling, my friend. So you're channeling the energies, you're getting downloads, and your mouth, but sometimes my mouth doesn't go as fast as when I'm downloading. That's why sometimes I like literally stutter because I'm going so fast. And so that's a sign that you're downloading. You speak from your heart to throat chakra, to third eye, crown, boom, and you call upon them to guide you. This is a daily thing for me. I'm always asking them to let me be a servant to their messages. Now you might think, well, they would not speak like that. No, you're right, because it's filtering through me. You're absolutely right. The filtering system filters the Tony personality, which is me. The Tony personality is irreverent. She swears. She doesn't give a fuck who she offends. And through that, so there's that. When I was in circle with the Galactic Council, there's no F-bombs running around that room, or that vibrational system that you're invited into, right? Clearly, no one's doing F-bombs. If anyone's doing an F-bomb, it's probably me. But I have enough respect and love for them that they know, because I did my F-bombs yesterday, like looking up at this guy going, you fucking help us, god damn it, we're fucking suffering here. And they gave me the answer that satisfied and soothed me and made me understand that, yeah, they could temporarily help us, but it would be only benefiting one generation. And that's not enough. We want this to get toppled for good, and for New Earth to be a permanent vibration, not a temporary place where we enjoy for one generation. It's not enough. Okay, so, and here's the question again. Yes, I told my daughter I felt drugged. Yeah, that's insane. So his command in 1 Samuel 15:3, interesting, because if you notice 15.3 is 9, that's God's number, was a good command. KDP, I have no idea. Honestly, half the shit I do, I never, no offense, didn't like the Bible. I was in a Lutheran school in Hong Kong, and they would beat the Bible into us. So, of course, in the Old Testament, I was always finding very inappropriate scenes, which had my teacher chuckling. I was 14 years old. She could bet that I would find the most inappropriate shit in the Old Testament. So I have no idea what that is, but if I were you, I would look at maybe spelling it out here, giving me a clue as to what it is, because I'm not going to say yes unless I know what I'm saying yes to. I feel it needs to come out. Do we end up with our TF in this lifetime, or are they just catalysts for healing? It's different for everyone. Does that make sense? It's completely different. Okay? Thank you, love. Absolutely. So go to my YouTube page, Venus Healing Hands. Listen to what I say. Listen to how I talk. Listen to what I say all the time. I'm always pushing about offending anyone, just like George Carlin didn't feel like he needed to offend. Oh, on the side note, I wanted to call out Whoopi Goldberg with her fucking fuckery and her arrogance on talking to the new generation that they're lazy. Fucking lazy. You believe that chick? Lazy. I mean, telling millennials and Gen Xers that they need to work harder if they want to own a house. This is no different than let them eat cake. That had me, I just, the unfairness to your generations, because I'm a boomer, and I'm a fucking pissed off boomer, like my twin was, and my twin and I realize, are so alike. Both are reverent, both kicking down doors. That was our thing, and this is my thing in this incarnation. Because of the fuckery, the judgment, the criticism, the unfairness of the criticism towards the new generation of starseeds coming in, who are doing more work than that BITC, H ever did in this thing, ever did. Okay? And for her to say that you have to work harder to buy a house, with the house prices being what they are, I bought a house, and the hoops you've got to jump, and they always say no. They always say no. And I'm going to say something to you. The thing about it is that it was a fucking miracle. 369 was part of the reason why I got the house, but looking at my taxes last year, I was like, how the fuck did I get that? I mean, like, miracles, right? So we can overcome that. But for her, who started doing stand-up at 19, I mean, she really maybe had a very small window of poverty or challenge, a little small window. And then the rest, she was making 100K in the late, in the 80s, and then into the millions towards the end of the 80s into the 90s. Okay, so this woman has never suffered. She's always bought whatever she wants, and she thinks working hard is what she does. Being a stand-up, doing anything you love is not work, number one. If you love it, it isn't work. It's a passion, and you get paid for it. It's exciting. It's wow. It's what I do. I love what I do. I can't call it work. Do I get tired sometimes? Because I'm sometimes working 7 days a week because I want to, because every client that I handpick, they come to me, and some clients aren't a good match and some clients are, and I get excited, right? I do the Akashic readings, and I'm so freaking excited. I mean, the content that comes out is just mind-blowing to me. So I can't call what I do work, right? But before that, before I started doing what I do in a massive way, right? Where it became what I did fully, because for almost 40 years, I was doing it on the side. It was here and there on the side. And then I started doing it professionally, pretty much like I think 10 years ago, right? Really professionally. And then still had side jobs here and there. But so the point is, she never worked a job that did not pay you enough to pay your bills. Clearly, because she started doing stand-up comedy at 19. So she might have doing hustles and this and that. Because she loved what she did, she was really working hard to make that her exclusive income, right? So now here she is as an elder boomer, which is she's a disgrace to me, because we have no right to judge the young generations coming up the ranks. We have no fucking right. Grocery bills. 6 years ago, there's a young man who did He had ordered some food at Walmart in 2022. It was $125. Same exact list, put it in his cart. It came out to $420 fucking dollars. Okay? So in 2 years, groceries tripled. She's sitting on her high horse in her multi-million-dollar whatever mansion or house or whatever. She probably has more than one. Looking down her nose at the young generation saying, guess what? Tip, work hard. Well, these young kids are working hard. Many of them have 2 jobs. Some of them are looking to just live in their car so they can save massive amount of money to buy a little piece of land so they can actually build their own, structure. Okay, so these people are working hard. No one's sitting on their asses. I'm not seeing this young generation sitting on their asses. That means millennials. And for her to make that comment and this is why I don't watch that show. I don't even know what the fuck the show's called. I forgot what it's called. But it's a bunch of, no offense, because I am, menopausal, angry. They haven't been LAID in dog years. And unfortunately, it's impacting their fucking brains, their brain cells. And so this is what gives boomers a bad name. And these people are standing on their little pedestals looking down at these new starseeds who are saying, fuck you, fuck the system and all that. And I'm saying, bravo, bravo. Because my twin was saying that as a hippie who never, he was a hippie that never grew up. Okay, meaning he never gave up his stance on the system. He knew from the last breath on this planet that this system was fucked. David Icke has given his entire career, his entire life to open the eyes of the populace throughout the world. And he has been exposed. He has been hunted down. He has been smeared. He has been attacked. He's been laughed at. And you can see that in his documentary on Gaia.com called Renegade. I highly recommend you watch it. That's what happened to boomers like us who were trying to basically expose what was wrong with the system, the corruptness, and the pure evil intent to subjugate the masses. Okay? So when I see boomers who have that kind of power, I'm talking hundreds of millions of people around the world who listen to their garbage, you can imagine how that makes me feel as a boomer. And many Gen Xers and millennials don't trust me and people like me because now they equate boomers as the assholes that have those platforms. And it's unfair to people like me and my twin. It's a disrespect to us because we are not like them. We were never like them. We will never be like them. And we will never, if I was in a position that she is in, I can tell you that I would be doing exactly and saying exactly what I'm saying right now. It wouldn't change. It wouldn't change one fucking iota. If anything, I'd have a bigger platform to spread the word, to have boomers wake the fuck up and stop filming dance moves from the 80s while the world is fucking collapsing. Can you imagine? It's like fucking incredible. The Titanic is fucking hit the iceberg and you guys want to show me dance moves from the 80s. I'm not interested. Where are your thought process? Are you going to vote for Trump or Kamala or are you going to go Democrat, vote Democratic because you always have, but you don't want to put 2 thoughts into why maybe that's a bad idea right now. Democrat, Republican, whatever, thinking beyond this weird, obsessive loyalty to parties that are actually the same. They merge into one evil force. I mean, let's be honest. So the Galactic Council, going back to the other realms of higher consciousness, are basically holding their breath, giving us a sacred space, literally sacred space, realizing that for us to wake up as we have is a fucking miracle. It's a bloody miracle. And we just need to have faith in our downloads, in our awakenings, in our powers, in our throat chakra, in our third eye, in our crown downloads, into the root chakra, trusting, feeling safe, feeling grounded, and feeling joyous that this time now is upon us. We just need to hold the line. That's about it. Does that make sense? She doesn't even have eyebrows. Yeah, never trust a woman with no eyebrows. I agree with that. I can't wait for mine tonight. I'm excited too. The talk. I saw that it's called the talk. Yeah, fuck them. They have nothing to say. People like me, they'll never invite people who really want to say the fucking truth. They just find the rhetoric. And what's sad is women my age are sitting there having breakfast, right? Because some of them are retired, right? They're 62 and above, right? Watching this rhetoric and eating up like toxic cake. And that's the problem. And so you've got these women in the 60s and 70s who unfortunately think that this is their people, right? Like Oprah Winfrey and Whoopi Goldberg and this other chick that's got red hair on the talk, whatever, right? And these other insane women who are just, I'm sorry, they're insane. And they're listening to that and normalizing propaganda, dogma, and cruelty. Actually, it's cruel. There's a cruelty to the messages. That's why I think the last time I watched this shit was like, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years, probably 15 years ago, because I haven't had a TV in 15 years. I won't even bother. It's like, why would I buy a TV? For what? The View. Oh, it's called The View. Thank you. That's what it's called. I was like, did they change the name? But The View. The lady doesn't even have eyebrows. My mother-in-law is this way. Very frustrating. It's very frustrating. There's my mom, God bless her soul, man. I remember staying with her in 2018 after while I was doing my ayahuasca trip and all that stuff. And I'm sitting here, I'm in her apartment. In the morning, she would put on the fucking news, okay? And have her breakfast before going to work. And then at night, she would put on the news. And one day I said to her, it almost turned into an argument. I didn't want to, but I said, Mom, why are you watching the news? I mean, I don't understand. Like, why would you put that energy into your morning? Why are you starting your day watching the fucking news? Most of it is a lie. 1, 2, it's there to create fear. 3, it's all fucking dogma propaganda shit and rhetoric to put you in a state of fear. Why would you want to listen to that? And her response was, well, I want to be informed. I go, I get you want to be informed, but don't you want to be informed? Or do you want to be fed? And she just would not acquiesce and say, that's a good point. She just was like, no, I want to know. I go, look, let me, and I gave her the following illustration. I said to her, if something important is going to happen, that is really, really serious, you'll have at least 2 friends texting you within minutes. You don't have to worry. Like when 9/11 happened, people were trying to call each other to say, are you safe? Did you see what's happened? Turn on the TV right now. Shit's happening. In other words, it was immediate. You don't have to follow the news. When the shit really is important, you'll get calls. And the following year, in 2019, I don't know if you got, I think it was 2018 or the latter part of 2018. I forgot. I was born and raised in Paris, right? Okay, so when Notre Dame burned, again, remember, I have no TV. I had 5 people text, oh my God, go online. Notre Dame is burning. I didn't need to follow the news. When the news is really the news, believe me, people will let you know the shit's hitting the fan. They'll tell you. So the thing is, you got to understand that they've been conditioned. God bless her, okay? They've been conditioned. By the time she was so sick, when you get sick, okay, when you're on your way out of this body, and you're very, very, you don't want to listen to shit anymore. Thank God. Because during the last 6 months of her life, there was no TV anymore. Okay, she was playing solitaire, listening to music. She didn't have the energy to listen to the news anymore. Thank God. I tell a lot of clients, if you're going to have TV for your kids, put on 369, not 369, though that is a hertz. Put on 528 hertz, something gorgeous with the waterfalls and the mooses and the wolves. And literally, they'll have videos of nature for like, I don't know, sometimes 1 hour, sometimes 7 hours of just pure video of nature. Have that on with high frequency music. You want that, put that on for your kids, but do not put bullshit. And when you put cartoons, make sure you control what kind of cartoons you want to watch. There's a great cartoon called Azul and the Prince, an incredible, gorgeous. There's another cartoon that was done in the 1920, and it's all lace. It's called Prince Ahmed, German cartoon, German filmmaker. She's a German filmmaker, where she was cutting what you would call Indonesian silhouette art. And she did a whole thing called, I think it's called Prince Ahmed, and Ahmed, and put that on. Lower the sound so there's no sound because they're playing, older music, and probably with the frequency of 4 hertz, and put on 528 hertz instead, and let your kids watch it. You know what I mean? You can also put on Charlie Chaplin, lower the sound, and then put on high frequency music. Does that make sense? I cannot recommend any Disney movies because of what came out in the subtle things that they were doing to program our children in the wrong direction. So I can't recommend those. But I would say to you that what I started really feeding my son was a lot of anime movies like Kiki's Delivery Service and Monokin, I think it's called. And look at some of the Ghibli cartoons, because they're not out to fuck our kids, okay? At least that's not what I've seen so far. I would recommend that on the side note. My mother and I called each other simultaneously as the hour were hit. No TV. Exactly. Yeah. Sharon Osbourne. Was that her name? Jesus, bloody hell. That show is toxic. I watched one episode and it turned my stomach. It is, but it's still fucking on, my friends. By design. The show is full of misinformation. Exactly. My mother and I called each other simultaneously as the towers were hit. No TV. I wanted to read that again because there you go. You don't have to worry. So much programming. Exactly. Astrid Lindgren Kids Stories. Oh my God. Okay, cool. And there's also these old little puppet type of shows. They're not puppets, but it's so cool. They're made with claymation kind of thing. And it's British, and it's about the weasel and the badger and the frog, Mr. Frog. And I used to watch this with my son when he was like 1, 2, 3, and they're really beautiful, sweet, like Beatrix Potter type cartoons. You know what I mean? You really want to stay away from the mass consumption, because it's not true and it's not there. So a lot of the Japanese cartoon, like the wife crane, the crane wife, things like beautiful, Beauty and the Beast, the French version from the 1950s, black and white. The way you refine, the way you train, the way you educate a refined mind is early on with the kind of stories you tell your children and what you expose them to. Okay, Winnie the Pooh, yes, they're great, and not the Disney version, okay? So that's what I would suggest. Anyway, any other questions or comments? So that was the download. This is why they're not in full force helping. It's really frustrating, but I will say to you that you're safe. We've been encircled with their love. They are impressed by the fact that we have been able to do something that previous generations, all the way to the Atlantean, by the way, could not do. But we are. We're breaching through the 3D brain, and we're able to move into 5D, 6D vibrational intent. We have to be the co-creators to the creator's vision of this planet. This planet was once 560. There were no wars. There was no pestilence. There was no famine. These were all imported by what you would call the Anunnaki. Anunnaki, a word that means other tribes from other planets, other species. It means, so it's kind of like an umbrella, if you will, right? But these had more egoic, reptilian intent. Many of them did not, by the way, but many of them then. So if you really want to learn your beginnings, instead of looking at Darwinism, which was another crock of shit, would be to look at Mr. Zachariah Stitchin's books, starting with the 12th planet. I'm just throwing you the name that I know off the top of my head. Thoth is mentioned, and definitely do not look at Thoth through Aleister Crowley. He was a pedo, and this is known, it's documented, there's no question about it. So a lot of these New Agers were actually occultists. There's a difference to that. So the word New Age came from Aleister Crowley and Blavatsky. They were weird occultist. They were interested in all things. My God, our German, the German, how do I put that without being shut down by TikTok? The German chancellor in World War II was into the occult. So, you know, and it's mentioned in Indiana Jones and Tomb Raiders, remember? The first movie, I think, or The Lost Ark. I forgot the title, but it was the first Indiana Jones with Harrison Ford. It's mentioned right there. I mean, it's literally shown. Yeah, he, you know, that this man was totally into the occult, totally believed in it. And why wouldn't he? The word occult has a different type of focus. Does that make sense? It's a darker focus. It's not a focus of us who are ancient souls who are starting to remember our past beginnings, and who remember what it was like to be next to the Creator, the one of 1,000 names, the one who created us, all that light, that divine unconditional love. We're starting to come out of amnesia and moving into our power. Does that make sense? I'm hooked on you because you give such valuable information. Good morning. I'm at work, so I'm glad I'm reading. So I need to meditate for this client. So I'm excited that I was able to catch you. I'm so honored that you're here. I will upload this live so you guys can share it with those who you think would benefit from this message. Do not despair. Hold the line. Keep pushing against that fucking system. And it's dissolving as we speak. And we are the water to the rock. The rock never wins. The water always wins. And you know that. You know that. So put frequency into the waves of water, the ocean of consciousness that we are. And chant. Chant your mantras. Chant Om Namah Shivaya. Chant Om Kalikaye Namaha. Chant whatever the fuck you want. Om Shanti Shanti. I don't give a shit what you chant, as long as you do it with your heart and soul into it. And we will be there. We are there. We have the divine appointment of the new earth. It's been written. It's been written many, many, many generations and different peoples across the ages. And that's why the 1% is throwing every fucking thing they got in the kitchen sink. They are desperate. They are panicked because their ruling is over. It's now a matter of us claiming the keys back to the castle. Sending you much love on your journey. Namaste.